Hey everyone, I'm Dan Snow. Welcome to Whitehall. There's a red double-decker bus in the way of my shot. There we go. That is all that remains of the once mighty Palace of Whitehall. That was where the medieval kings of England ruled this country from. And that is where, you're looking right in the middle of the frame there, guys. That is where on the 30th of January 1649, King Charles I was taken out of those windows and he was executed on that balcony, well, on a balcony that was specially built out there. Yes, he was. Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm taking you on a guided tour through Whitehall, through the heart of the British establishment. There, down there, is Big Ben. In fact, you can just see Big Ben through the trees there. Downing Street's on the right over there. Douglas Haig, the man on the horse, Field Marshal Douglas Haig, the commander of the British forces during World War I. Ministry of Defence behind him. This is where it all happened, guys. This is where it all happened. There's the old War Office there. That building there is no longer a War Office, but that is the building where the war effort, First and Second World War, run out of. D-Day was given the final approval in there. That's where it all happened in there. Oh, look, here we are now. We're in Horse Guards. This is the old War Office, if you like. This is kind of the old War Office. Here you go. This is a man from the Household Cavalry. He's looking at his uniform. He's from the Blues and Royals. They're the Blues and Royals, I think, are the second most senior regiment in the British Army. So they were formed years ago. Formed in the late 17th century. Oh, let me go through here. Here we go. Something going on, everybody. Something going on. Thanks for sharing this, everyone. Thanks for sharing. There's obviously something exciting going on here soon. There's tourists all gathering. There's someone else from the Blues and Royals. So they were formed as part of the King's Bodyguard in the 17th century, commanded by, among others, they're the Household Cavalry. So commanded by, among others, the Duke of Monmouth, the King's son, the Duke of Monmouth. And we come through here. Above my head now, this is Horse Guards. That's looking good. This is Horse Guards. This is where the British Army, HQ the British Army was, for lots of years, before the building of that big old War Office behind me. Check this out. If that's the Army, this is the Navy. That extraordinary building was one of the biggest office blocks in the world for one of the biggest organisations in the world, the Royal Navy in the 19th century. That's where, when the Royal Navy was the most powerful force in the world, that's where it was commanded from. And then we'll turn back, this way, turn back there, and we're going to look at the Horse Guards. Horse Guards was where, in the 18th century, the early 19th century, decisions were made in there that affected, well, virtually every country on the planet. And some of the great commanders, Wolseley there and Roberts there, they didn't like each other in life, but their statues in death beside each other. 10 Downing Street, that's the back of 10 Downing Street there. Over there is where the Prime Minister lives with his family. Next door, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, or the Finance Minister, as we would call it, in the as you might call it in the rest of the world. Let's keep going. The Scotland Yard nearby. Yes, it is nearby, guys. This is St James's Park here. St James's Park is it separates sort of this governmental district here from the Royal Court, which is at Buckingham Palace. There we go. You'll be glad to know I'm getting a new selfie stick soon. This one seems to be slightly lopsided. I'm going to show you the Churchill War Rooms now. Thanks for sharing, guys. This is the Foreign Office here. Oh, hello. This is the Foreign Office. Statue of Mountbatten, Earl Mountbatten of Burma, a man who commanded the Indian Ocean Theatre in World War II and was killed by the IRA. I'm listening to starboard, that is exactly correct. There's the Foreign Office, built at a time when Britain obviously dominated the world, the largest empire the world ever seen, so it needed a lot of office space to keep those colonial possessions under control, to run the world. This was the office built. That is Downing Street there, everybody. That's the back of Downing Street. That's number 11 Downing Street there. That's where Finance Minister lives, Chancellor Exchequer. Until very recently you could walk right through here, walk along Downing Street, but now of course security means it's all been closed off. There's St James's Park. Ooh. Royal Parks. And now we're coming to one of the most important things, guys. We are going to come... Hey everyone, how's it going? We're coming up here to the Churchill War Rooms. And we're coming up to Westminster Abbey as well. So this is where Whitehall and Westminster coincide, the political and religious, well, the kind of governmental and religious nexus of Britain. It's a pretty dramatic place, and you know what, I live here but I never get bored. Now check that is Buckingham Palace down through there. Can you see it? Right through there, Buckingham Palace. You almost can't really see it on this wide angle lens. This GoPro's gone on it, so I apologise for that. Let's come up here. Now, 350 years ago, this week, if you're watching this in the future, I'm doing this at the beginning of September 2016. 350 years ago this week, the Great Fire of London swept through the old city of London, burned down most of medieval London, nearly, in fact, pretty much all of medieval London. But we are just outside that blast zone at the moment. We're just outside the area. It stopped short just behind me. So this area wasn't too badly affected, but it was subsequently remodelled by bureaucrats, kings and governments later. I love this, look at this. These are the Clive steps. Clive of India. Pretty cool though. So Clive of India was a man who conquered most of Bengal in the 1750s and amassed an extraordinary amount of wealth. He died. He never got the respectability and the status that he thought he deserved, though, and he died possibly by his own hand. He died by suicide in the 1770s. One of the richest men in the world. But he wasn't happy, guys. He wasn't happy. So think about that. Think about that. Here we go. Churchill War Rooms. This is where the British government, where Winston Churchill would come during the Blitz, when this part of London was under attack from the Luftwaffe. There we go. Underneath the Foreign Office, this is where Churchill would come. But actually, apparently, he didn't really like going down there. Churchill rather liked watching the air raids from the tops of buildings. He loved danger. He loved being bombed. He was never really one for hiding away, so he didn't actually use it that much apparently. But anyway, those are the Churchill War Rooms. That was his official bunker where he'd go. Right. Here we go. Now we're going to come down here, everybody. We're just going to get into. We're coming out of Whitehall now, and we're going into Westminster. This is technically a separate city. Technically a separate city here, and then I'll leave you with a sight of Parliament, Big Ben, and also Westminster Abbey. So some of the most important and beautiful buildings in Britain. Well, you know what? Very special buildings, no matter where you are in the world. Here we go. Let's check it. Here we go. Building on the left, that's the Treasury. The building on the left is the Treasury. There is Big Ben, everybody. That's Big Ben. We just moved into Westminster now. You can see Big Ben there. Here we go. Let's just get run over by this taxi. I'm going to come through here, down this road, and you are going to see Westminster Abbey opening up before you like a beautiful... You can see the 18th century facade of Westminster Abbey. It actually goes back almost 1,000 years, Westminster Abbey, about 950 years almost, to King Edward the Confessor. But and if you're watching abroad, this is a classic English pub coming up on the right, where I may go for a pint of ale after this. The Westminster Arms. Okay, here we go. Get ready for Westminster Abbey, everyone. It's coming. I walk fast. You're breaking the law. In what respect am I breaking the law? I may be breaking the law. Okay, here we go, guys. Westminster Abbey coming there. There it is, the 18th century facade of Westminster Abbey. Absolutely beautiful on this early autumn day. That cream colour, that Portland stone looking real good. And this is where William and Kate got married. This is where the kings and queens of England and Britain have, well, lots of them have been buried. And this is where the monarchs are crowned. This is the primary church of the English and British state. Check this out. 950 years old. In the middle, a shrine to Edward the Confessor. And in 1066, 950 years ago, this place saw a lot of action. It saw King Harold died, Edward the Confessor buried, and then King William the Conqueror all crowned all in 1 year. Hey Geraint, how you doing, buddy? I am behind you, that's very scary. So you go, that's Westminster Abbey. Down there, beyond it, the House of Parliament, the House of Lords on the right, the House of Commons on the left, Westminster Hall. You can check out Westminster Hall, my earlier Periscope. And that, ladies and gentlemen, the Saxons did lose all of their status. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to have to leave you today. Please follow this scope. I've got a lot more action coming the next few days, and we're going to Paris, we're going to the Western Front, we're going to all sorts of places. You're going to love it. See you later. Bye bye.